Hi everybody, welcome to Tuesday Talk. Today's topic is, as you saw on the thumbnail, entitled, Is This Normal? So what am I talking about? I saw a Instagram reel the other day where a mom was feeding her baby like beef and eggs and stuff like that. And there was a comment, multiple comments on why don't you just feed your toddler, it was a toddler, not a baby, why don't you just feed them normal food? I have had people make remarks about my food that inferred that what I eat isn't normal, such as, and maybe you've had this too, when we go out on Friday night, are you going to eat normal food? When will you go back to eating normal food? They know I've been eating this way for quite some time. Things like that. Have you had that happen? Have you had people refer to what they're doing as normal compared to what you're doing, which could be, keto, low carb, carnivore, even just following a proper human diet of single ingredient foods? When did it become not normal to eat whole foods? When? There actually is a date. There is an approximate date because I started to Google these things. But first of all, most North Americans, and I'm including Canadians in this, I'm Canadian, we don't have a pass on this one. Most people in the US and Canada and other parts of, the Western world eat what I would call a standard American diet, and or some people call it, depending on where they live, a standard Western diet. So I decided to Google the standard American diet to see what Google says about it. Here's what Google said. The standard American diet is a dietary pattern characterized by high consumption of processed foods, refined grains, added sugars, and unhealthy fats. It is linked to obesity, heart disease, type 2 diabetes, and other chronic diseases. That is what people out there consider to be normal. I've said this on my live streams before. If you follow the standard American diet, you're going to get the standard American diseases. Obesity, heart disease, type 2 diabetes, and other chronic diseases come from what most people consider to be a normal diet. Right now, and I Googled this as well, 73.6% of people in North America are overweight and obese. Of that number, about half of them are overweight, 40%, so a little more than half, 40% are obese. They follow that diet. They do. So I just would like us to think about our use of the word normal when we're referring to food, and when you're commenting on people's, what they're eating. Think about that. I remember my grandparents and my aunties and uncles. They're all kind of based, or they were based, most of them in northern Alberta, on various farms and homesteads and things like that. It was normal to grow your own vegetables and fruits. Like they ate what they grew. It was normal to have chickens and pigs and beef and slaughter them yourself. And your freezer was full of your own slaughtered animals, homemade sausages that you made from the animals, homemade bacon. And it was normal to have the fat sitting on the counter in a canister, and you would use, leftover lard, leftover tallow, those sorts of things. You would make your own butter. You would use all those things as the fats that you cooked in. That was normal. Like that's kind of, the expectation when you went there to eat or were served food. it was normal that, I mean, you didn't have to say this was grown in my garden. You didn't have to say where it came from. Everybody knew where it came from. It came from just right outside the door. It came from the work of their hands and their labor. That was normal. It's not very complicated to eat a normal diet. What is that? What does it look like? Well, it looks like foods that have one ingredient. I know that a lot of us live in apartments and housing that maybe you can't have chickens and a garden. I mean, that is more the norm. And we go to the store and get things, or we order things online, or we get Instacart, or the local grocery store delivers for a fee, that sort of thing. But that doesn't mean you have to, buy all of those processed foods. You can get single ingredient foods. You can, if you can afford it, you can get organic. But I would say that if you can't afford organic, just get the single ingredient foods. Get what you can. Get foods that are not in packages and bags and have these long labels with 20 ingredients on them, even a few ingredients. Don't be afraid of meat. Don't be afraid of animal fats. What we're eating as fat these days is not even real food. It's processed chemicals that look like, butter. I can't believe it's not butter. It isn't butter. Don't eat it. eat the butter. Here's the fats that that we should all have available to us. This is ghee, clarified butter. This is grass-fed butter that I got from Walmart. This is an avocado. It's only one ingredient. It's actually a good fat that also has some fiber in it. Here's avocado oil. One ingredient, naturally refined avocado oil. That's it. Olive oil. Again, one ingredient. Ingredients: cold pressed extra virgin organic olive oil. One ingredient. The things that pass for fats and food are frankenfoods. They are food-like substances. They are not real food. We were meant to eat this. I didn't have a nice can of it, but I also save bacon grease and fat drippings to make other things, like to make stock and gravies and to fry. Tomorrow's eggs can be fried in today's bacon drippings or whatever like that. Those are all okay. This should be normal. Those fats should be normal, not the seed oils and salad dressings, those things that they've had the life and the nutrients processed right out of them, and they are at the root of many chronic diseases and illnesses of today. So don't be afraid of going back to what your grandparents ate, what the people who came before us, before all the processed foods were on the market. So where did this start? I googled it, and Google says it started in the 50s when fast food started becoming a thing, and by the 70s and 80s, more and more food manufacturers were producing food that were in packages and bags, using the vegetable oils and seed oils. There's this whole thing with big food, and they lobbied the government for it to be passed as safe and even better than real single ingredient food. Don't believe it. Don't believe it, because since then, where did that get us? Where did eating all that fake food get us? It got us to 73.6% of North Americans being in the overweight and obese category. And it got us to type 2 diabetes, inflammation, heart disease, all of those other things, the standard American diseases. So that's where it got us. go back to the healthy fats, the single ingredient fats, the ones that come from natural sources. Go back to meat. And, you know, if you're going to eat vegetables, grow them yourself or buy them. No need to have them, you know, in packaged foods. They just come as they are. I wish that I had known this many years ago. I've lost 145 pounds eating this way, you know, trying to get cleaner and cleaner all the time. I didn't start out perfect. None of us can do this perfectly right out of the gate. It's a learning process. I have been working on this for quite some time, and I won't go back to normal eating. This is normal. This is normal for me, eating, you know, meat, animal fats. If I have vegetables, I want them to be, you know, to be healthy. But that's normal. That's what normal eating is, and I plan to do that for however many years I have left. And I hope you'll think about it. I hope that you will start to look at what everyone else is doing out there as being not normal, and start doing what you know deep in your heart is actually normal eating, what our grandparents used to do and our great-grandparents used to do. Your health span and your muscles and joints and all those other aches and pains, they're going to get better, and you're going to feel so much better and be healthier for it, and avoid Alzheimer's and all those other things that we don't want to get. Stay away from the chemical foods and eat single ingredient foods. I'm just imploring you to do that. And I think I'll get off my soapbox now. Thank you for listening, and have a great week, and see you next time.
This happened, and you know, you can Google this too. It was in the 70s and 80s. Oh, something just happened, Terry. Is this normal?
Normal is a setting on the dryer. I know.